On behalf of Maharaj Kumari Charanjit Kaur of Nabha and her family and the Board of Trustees of the Nabha Foundation, we give our profound thanks to each and every one of you for being with us today. This year, in many places across the land, the 150th birth anniversary of Bhai Kahan Singh Ji of Nabha is being celebrated and honored, and rightly so. We felt that this special birth anniversary of Bhai Kahan Singh Ji of Nabha should also be celebrated in Nabha. It is with a sense of deep humility that I say we feel extremely privileged that the Nabha Foundation has been able to host this special seminar. As a foundation that was founded by the daughter and the grandsons of Maharaja Ripudaman Singh, it is a double honor in knowing that Bhai Kahan Singh Ji was also the tutor, and if not the most influential person in his life, was one of the most influential people in Maharaja's life, that we feel deeply blessed being able to be associated with this event. I am the only non-scholar on this dais, and therefore I realize I am walking on thin ice. The work we do in the Nabha Foundation falls into two sets of categories. It is the second one that is relevant today, but for the record, let me just mention the first set of activities we do. What we do in the present that makes a difference for the present or change the odds for the future. Examples are the work we do with our 6 innovative schools in Nabha, the 25 government schools which we support through libraries and playground equipment and other things, the nearly 300 organic farmers we provide technical field services to, the 20 villages that have benefited from the water sanitation projects, the Fulkari, the work we do with the bus shelters and other places with HIV/AIDS. That's the work we do in the first category. The second set, which is what we are concerned here today, is with something that's very profound as well. How can we draw from our past to illuminate the present, where the past is indeed prologue? The work we do in the restoration of the Dulhadi Gate, or the Samad of Maharaja Hira Singh, or the project that we did with the students of Ripudaman College to go and record the memories and the recollections of the senior citizens of Nabha so that they can be saved for posterity and perpetuity. That is the work that we do to draw from our past. But though development usually entails change, social change, economic change, it need not necessarily be so. There is also an important part of development, that is of preserving what we had, of cherishing what we had, and let that flourish. It is in this context that we find the special seminar of utmost relevance today. How can we make history come alive for the secondary school students? We are so glad you could be with us today, bravely skipping classes and putting up with a delayed lunch. With the work that we do for the secondary school students is a very important part, and that is why this special seminar is much as for you as it is for the rest of us. The concept of legacy is an important one today for us. What is legacy? It is what we bequeath to the next generation. People do that usually in the form of houses, land, or what's in the safety deposit bank, in the safety deposit box in the bank. But today, for someone who was, in same person, one and the same person, a preeminent genius of Punjabi literature, interpreter, keen researcher of Gurbani, lexicographer, translator, linguist, master of poetry, editor, learned in Sanskrit and Persian, Gurmat poetry, history, law, without a formal schooling in law or university, went to the highest court of appeal in the world at that time, the Privy Council, and won the case on behalf of the state of Nabha. The list goes on, and I may not never end. Profoundly knowledgeable in the Vedas, musician, superb marksman, foreign minister, judge of the High Court. This is one and the same person we're talking about. What is the legacy of somebody like that? I am not going to get into the scholarly aspects that we had all morning, be it the Mahankosh or the Guru Mat Martand on Sikh rituals in the Maryada. I'm not going to get into that. More profoundly knowledgeable people have addressed those. But let me talk in very simple and personal and tangible terms what that could mean for us. Three things come to mind. If I lament today on such a happy occasion, it is when I reflect why we can't have, how the world would be different if we had such people today leading us and influencing us. And I'm not talking about India, I'm talking about the world. If we just had some people of that stature and that influence who can influence our lives, how different the world would be. The second question is the important relationship between Guru and Shiksha, the teacher and the student. It is one of the most important concepts we cherish in our culture. It is not the work that he did with Tika Ripudaman Singh in drafting the Anand Karaj and many other things that he did to influence the students. I subscribe to an old-fashioned definition of education, where education is defined as developing citizens who are privately happy and publicly useful. Bhai Kahan Singh Ji's life was a life of selflessness and service. And now my final point is the legacy in very personal and real terms. I cannot think about the legacy of a legendary scholar, Bhai Kahan Singh Ji of Nabha, without thinking about the values he imparted, he bequeathed to the next generations. And I cannot talk about that or think about that without thinking about the life of Major A.P. Singh and Rupika in the work that they do. That is how it comes real to me, the values that have gone on, passed on. Values of patriotism, sincerity of purpose, life of selflessness. I don't know how many of you know, Rupika runs a center for underprivileged children. That is selflessness in action. Not in thought or word, but in deed, in action. The life of integrity and character. I am hard put to find in my work somebody who is as Major AP is gentle, for somebody who served as a major in the army, of character, integrity, generosity, compassion, and selflessness. And those are the values that are real to me of the legacy of Bhai Kahan Singh Ji of Nabha. So I come here today to honor Major A.P. Singh and Rupika and the larger family that they represent for those values. In proposing this vote of thanks, my first vote of thanks is to those qualities and those friendships that Major A.P. has shared with all of us. I thank the Honorable Dr. Jaspal Singh, who was the presiding, who very kindly did the presidential address as well as presided over the proceedings. We thank him very much. Honorable Jai Singh Gill, a proud son of Nabha, needs no introduction from me, but he has been somebody who we have turned to, not just only today, but over and over again for wisdom and counsel and advice. We thank you, Mr. Jai Singh Gill. Sant Harpal Singh Seva, we thank you profoundly for your words of inspiration and for gracing the occasion today. We also thank Mr. Darshan Buttar and Sukhdev Singh for being leading the organizational team. They are like the successful events with Nabha are somehow or other associated with their good work, like the go-to team to make these things happen. So we thank you very much for all that you do in Nabha. Dr. Ratan Singh Jagi, we heard from him He is a centurion. Not the centurion that of the sort that the Indian team right now needs, but a centurion of 100 plus scholarly works, 100 not out, scholarly works. Thank you very much for gracing the occasion today. Dr. James Garawal, eminent historian and biographer, the go-to person we all turn to when we want to know the worth of wisdom from history. We thank you, sir, for being with us today. Dr. Jagmal Singh, PhD, he saw the evidence of the PhD on Bhai Kahan Singh ji, that his work in his paper that he presented. Thank you very much. And Dr. Balkar Singh, thanks again for your comments and for your eminent scholarly work here as well. Last, and I'm just going to do two more things. We thank Mr. Jagpreet Singh, headmaster of PPS, for being a gracious host for the events for today. I thank also the people who are associated with the activities this evening, very much so. And if I may ask your indulgence for one last minute, 60 seconds, to thank the Nabha Foundation staff team who really make our day-to-day work possible. General Satish Chopra, who was the head of the command, Eastern Command of the Indian Army, with 400,000 plus men and women under his command. I always say, any challenge that I throw his way in Nabha is a piece of cake for him. He says he's not sure. That's meant to be humorous and not serious. But there's no such big challenge in Nabha that he cannot take. Maria Angelica Vargas, who serves as the Director for Economic Development in the Nabha Foundation, was formerly the Director for Economic Development in the state of Maryland in the United States. And she brings that set of experiences and experience to how we work together collaboratively for the development of Nabha. And Major Manku was the first head of our office in the Nabha Foundation based in Nabha, and is still the head of our office in the Nabha Foundation, which means I hope that he enjoys his job. And we thank him and his team who are out in the field very much, be it shelters, the bus stands, working with HIV/AIDS cases, or trying to minimize them, or working in the fields for organic farmers, or classrooms, or Fulkari. We thank this team. And on behalf of that team, I thank all of you who come in grace the occasion today and for making this day possible. And Major AP, thank you very much again for all that you have done and continue to do for the Nabha Foundation.
Sir, thank you very much for the precious words. Please sit down, please, 1 minute more. Sade kuch sanman ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸਮੂਲੀਅਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਮੁੱਖ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਜੈ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਗਿੱਲ IAS, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਮੰਚ 'ਤੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਆ ਜਾਣ, ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਟੂ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਡੌਨ ਮੋਹਨ ਲਾਲ ਜੀ CEO, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਜਾਣ। ਸਾਡੇ ਮੇਜਰ ਆਦਰਸ਼ਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਨਮਾਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਜਨਰਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ, ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਕਮ ਔਨ ਦਾ ਸਟੇਜ ਸਰ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਦੇਣ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਮਾਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਕਾਹਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਨਾਭਾ ਦੇ ਵਾਂਸੀ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ ਵੀ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਲੜੀ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਤੋਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਲਾਈਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਹਨ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਨਮਾਨ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਸਰ ਪਲੀਜ਼। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਬੱਟ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ। ਸਰਦਾਰ ਜੈ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਗਿੱਲ, ਡੌਨ ਮੋਹਨ ਲਾਲ ਜੀ, ਮੇਜਰ ਆਦਰਸ਼ਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਜੋ ਤੀਸਰੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਦੇ ਵਾਰਸ ਨੇ ਭਾਈ ਕਾਹਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਨਾਭਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਸਨਮਾਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਗੁੱਟਰ ਜੀ ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਨੇ ਭਾਈ ਕਾਹਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਨਾਭਾ ਰਚਨਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਮੰਚ ਦੇ।